Hi, welcome back. Today my mom and I thought that it'd be really cute to make a little cooking video together and to share with you guys some of our favorite lunch, breakfast, and dinner recipes. My mom loves to cook for me and I love to eat her food. So let's just get started. Let's begin with breakfast, which in my opinion is the most important meal of the day. My mom is making 胡桃子, which translates into zucchini pancake. So we're using 2 Mexican zucchinis and 3 eggs. And you just want to grate the zucchini like this.
插2种丝，一种是细一点的，还有一种呢粗一点的，让它比较有那个质感，就是吃起来口感不太一样。这个比较费手臂的力气。
To make the batter, we're adding in 3 eggs and you want to season it with a little bit of salt and 1 tablespoon of sesame oil. I think we added in around 2 cups of flour and 4 tablespoons of unsalted chicken stock. There's not really any proper measurements, you just want a consistency like this.
稍微稀一点点的。
At the stove, using medium heat, we're adding a few spoonfuls of batter and spreading it out. My mom is using this crepe spreader, which she was really excited to show me, but anything works and it really depends on how thick you want your pancake to be.
别拍，为什么不拍？万一我失败了。
And just flip it around until both sides have a bit of a golden crisp. For the sauce, we're adding in some chopped garlic, some soy sauce, and a little bit of sesame oil and chili oil. The pancake is super soft and chewy, plus I love how you can actually taste the texture of the zucchini. The traditional way of eating 胡桃子 is with this sauce, but personally I like to eat it with vinegar, black vinegar, so I'm gonna use both. You can also wrap other vegetables and meat in here and turn it kind of into like a wrap. Yes, I do like it with both sauces. If you have a little bit more time on your hands, we made a second breakfast called lanlon, which means lazy dragon. It's basically an exposed meat bun. To make the dough, we're using around 2.5 cups of flour and then adding in approximately 1 to 2 teaspoons of active dry yeast, followed by 1 teaspoon of sugar. We're gradually pouring in half a cup of warm water while mixing, and it's time to get your hands dirty and to start kneading until the dough becomes a ball.
这个软度刚好。
Once that's done, cover the dough with a damp paper towel, let it sit and rise.
我小时在北京的时候非常爱吃这个面食哦，尤其在上幼稚园的时候，我记得非常爱吃这个懒龙。
While the dough rises, we're going to make the pork filling. To the minced pork, we're adding 3 tablespoons of cooking wine, 2 tablespoons of unsalted chicken stock, and around a 1/4 cup of soy sauce. Once you mix that a bit, add in some sesame oil and 1 tablespoon of dark soy sauce for some color. Then you just want to keep mixing it in one direction until it sounds something like this.
颜色也比较好。
Now that the dough has somewhat doubled in size, we're going to take it out and knead it for a bit more before rolling it into this longer shape. Because our cutting board wasn't big enough, we divide the dough into 2 sections, and after rolling out the dough into a thin rectangular piece, we are spreading the filling on and avoiding the corners. Doesn't really matter how much or how little filling you put in. My mom loves a lot of filling, so we're adding in a lot of filling. It's time to roll. Roll up like a cinnamon roll and make sure to add some water on the edges to seal it tightly.
就这么薄薄一层，然后到头的最后那点再沾点水，这边推一下，你就知道它有没有封好。
We're letting it steam for around 25 to 30 minutes over medium heat, and once it's out, I guess it looks like a dragon.
Okay.
Anyways, slice it into however thin or thick you would like, and it's ready to eat. 比你的小时候吃的好吃吗？
好吃多了，加点醋会比较好。就是薄皮大馅儿。我在欣赏我做的肉龙。
One thing that I've been really consistent about is taking all of my vitamins, which is why I want to thank Care for sponsoring this video. Care offers a curated set of products that are designed with research-backed ingredients and optimal doses. Care will create a personalized plan for you once you take the quiz and tell Care about your goals, lifestyles, and values. They're also super convenient. They come in these adorable individual daily packs, which is perfect if you have a busy routine. I like to throw them in my bag whenever I'm heading out. I'm currently trying out a few different vitamins. One of them is vitamin C, which helps support a healthy immune system. It's formulated for absorption and easy to digest. Another one that I'm taking is this multivitamin with iron, just to cover some nutrient gaps, and iron is really great, especially when you're on your menstrual cycle. Lastly, I'm trying out this chromium plus apple extract, which supports a healthy metabolism and helps maintain healthy blood sugar levels. This year I'm really trying to focus on my health, get the right nutrients in, and Care of is truly helping me take a step further in the right direction. You can scan my QR code or click the link below to take the quiz for 50% off subscription items in your first order. Moving on to lunch, we are making jiang, which is one of my favorite ways of eating noodles and also a classic Beijing dish. It's really easy to make. First, cut up the pork belly into half-inch chunks, and for the sauce, we're using a combination of yellow bean sauce and sweet bean sauce. We're frying up the pork belly with some green onion over medium-high heat, and once the pork belly has achieved some crispy golden edges, that's when you can start frying the sauce in the fat, which is where the name jiang comes from. The sweet bean is on the sweeter side, and the yellow bean is very salty, so we're using about a 1-to-1 ratio and frying that up for 10 minutes before adding a 1/4 cup of water in. After frying it for another 5 minutes, add in 1 tablespoon of sugar and let it bubble away for another 5 minutes or so.
味道还不错。
Usually when I make this, I get really lazy, so I make a vegetarian version of it, where instead of using pork belly, it's scrambled eggs and paired with the same sauce. Maybe I'll share that recipe with you next time. To balance everything out, we're going to need some toppings. We're slicing up some cucumbers, adding it into this really cute side dish, along with some boiled bean sprouts and carrots. You can use any vegetable that you have on hand. For the noodles, we're using my favorite multi-grain noodles, but any chewy noodle with that QQ texture works. Some bean sprouts, a lot of cucumbers, and for some color, some carrots. These noodles are so yummy. They're chewy, salty, sweet, and with the added crunch of the veggies, it's so good. And as a side tip, if everything gets a little too clumpy, you can add in some hot noodle water to loosen it up. After a nice long afternoon nap, I am helping my mom prepare family dinner, which normally consists of 1 soup, 1 dish with protein, and 1 vegetable dish. To make lo tang, which is a Chinese take on borscht soup, we are placing the beef bones and back ribs in cold water and boiling it for 10 minutes. Then you want to transfer everything to a pot with green onion, ginger, and cooking wine. This is just to clean the bones. We're letting this boil on high heat until the soup starts looking thick and creamy. This will take around 2 hours, and while that is going, we are preparing and chopping the other ingredients, which are some carrots, 1 onion, 2 potatoes, and 1 tomato. Once everything is creamy looking, we are transferring the back ribs and broth into another pot, and you can either discard or reuse the rest of the bones. We are frying half an onion to get some extra flavor and adding that in. Then add in the potatoes, carrots, and the other half of the onion and let that simmer for around 20 minutes or until halfway cooked before adding in an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce, some tomato paste, and the fresh tomatoes. You can add some water if needed and let that boil for another 20 minutes and add salt and sugar to taste. We almost forgot to add the cabbage, which is a crucial part of the soup, but when that's cooked through, the lo tang is complete.
做好了。
Next, we are making 珍珠丸子, which translates to pearl meatballs. They are steamed meatballs covered with sticky rice, and it's delicious. The sweet rice needs to be soaked for at least 2 hours or overnight. For the meatballs, we are using a mixture of shiitake mushrooms, shrimp, and pork. No measurements, just however much you would like. We're starting off with the pork filling and adding in the chopped shiitake mushrooms. It's very similar to the filling we made earlier. You just want to add in the green onion, cooking wine, soy sauce, and some sesame oil. And as you're mixing it, gradually add in some chicken stock or water. Once you've chopped up the shrimp into a paste, add that into the pork mixture along with a dash of salt and white pepper and a little bit of potato starch, and just keep mixing it in the same direction until it becomes a thick paste. This is where the fun begins. Start shaping the meatballs into balls and roll them one by one into the sticky rice until they're all covered.
这样这个糯米了。Okay, last one.
And steam it for around 15 to 20 minutes. You can also steam the rest of the sticky rice that you didn't use and eat it with something else. Now that it's done cooking, we're just decorating the meatballs with some goji berries for some added color. For our last dish, we're stir-frying up some red spinach with garlic and a little bit of salt. We cook most leafy greens the same way, just super simple, and our dinner is ready.
好了。
Dinner was so tasty. I can't decide if the borscht soup was my favorite or the pearl meatballs because I love anything with tomatoes in it, but I also love sticky rice. I hope you enjoyed this video. My mom and I had so much fun making it. A lot of these dishes are not only my childhood favorites, but also my mom's childhood favorites that my grandpa cooked for her. If you decide to try out any of these recipes, please share some pictures with me. I would love to see. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye!
糯米还是糯米？糯糯。